This is destabilizing disability. This is me in a chair. This is not going to last long. So let's get right into it. I am in the place where I have started to do a little bit more. And to be honest, it's sooner than I thought. I thought I was going to be healthier, feeling a lot more confident in my body and my health and my situation and my episodes and my blah, blah, blah. And I'm not. But I have already fallen into going ahead and trying to be with people a little bit more, go out a little bit more, do things that need to get done that I've been putting off, and starting to make some friends. And that has come with some issues. Well, they're not issues, and I'm going to make sure that they're not issues. So hear me out, because I have a plan, and I have an idea, and I have a little project, and I need you to tell me whether or not I'm crazy, okay? Tell me I'm not crazy. That's really the only option. Please and thank you. So when you talk to people, or when you are existing in the world, parking in a disabled, handicapped parking, walking around with a cane on, going into different appointments, full-grown adults will say things and ask you questions like, you can't really park here, you shouldn't be parking here, what's wrong with you? Or, why are you using that cane? What's going on? Why are you so slow? What's happening? Why are you sitting here? They just ask a lot of questions. And when making friends, I'm also being inundated. I'm feeling inundated. Let's be honest. I'm a little dramatic, but I'm feeling inundated with oh, have you tried this? Who are you seeing? What doctors are they helping you? You don't seem like you're getting a lot of help. So let's change your doctors. Have you tried this? Have you done Pilates? Are you eating like this? Have you always had this? Is it getting worse as you age? Are you on disability? And the truth is that I'm actually quite open with my life and my personal things and my blah, 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 blah. But I'm just not that open. I think I'm pretty open and I will talk to you, but not every situation, not every person, and not every moment is the best moment to be asking and answering those questions, And I have found myself in some of those spots that I'm going, you know what? I wish this was maybe a little bit different. Here's where my idea comes in. Call me crazy. Do not call me crazy. What if I had videos on my phone, very short, very concise, very respectful and grateful, that I could send to someone when they ask me these questions, but I'm not in a place to answer it, or we're not in a situation where that's really the most appropriate thing to be talking about? What if I have a video on my phone that I can just send them that just answers the questions? Hear me out. First of all, it would probably have to be a series because there's a series of situations, right? So if a stranger that I'm seeing in the parking lot coming up to me as I'm in the handicapped parking space, or in a grocery store that's passing by, gas station, that's just what's wrong with you? Why are you using that? Stranger danger. If a stranger is coming up to me and asking questions, I think it's probably best not to answer them. Not sit there and I don't need to be using my time and my energy that is so precious and so little right now, trying to figure out their intentions, trying to go back and forth of what to say and what not to say in my mind, stopping whatever task I'm on, and most likely I'm on the way to a doctor's appointment, so I don't really have time for this. Or I'm doing one thing that I don't even think I can do, running into a store with whoever I'm with to grab a couple things on the way home from a doctor's appointment, So I don't really want to take away from the very intentional thing that I'm doing and using my energy and resources for. It's just unnecessary. I'm never going to see this person again. I don't need to put all this pressure on myself to try to educate them or be disability awareness, or whether or not this person is in a good mood or bad mood, or what their intentions are for asking me this question, and what they're going to walk away with. Is it really my responsibility? Either way, I think it would be cool if I just had a quick snapshot of things that I'm very comfortable saying, and I could have just a business card, cute little cards that I carry with me that say, "Hi, I'm disabled," with a QR code, and it goes to this video I have, right? Where 15, 30 seconds, it's like, I have a disability. I can say as much as I want to say. I have a disability. I go to see my doctors and I have the proper paperwork to park where I'm parked, to use the mobility aids that I use, to do whatever that I seem to be coming in contact with most. If it's mostly people are like, "Hey, why are you parking here? Why are you using a cane?" Whatever. And I can just answer a couple questions that I'm getting out in life. Are you getting the help you need? Do you need this? Do you have disability? I use financial aids when they are appropriate and when I qualify for them. Thank you very much. I have, someone that I have a case manager. I don't need you to be my case manager. Whatever it is, Oh, thank you for asking about my disability, but, HIPAA laws. I don't really discuss my personal medical information with just everybody on the street. It's funny because then they could find my YouTube channel and be like, "Oh, yes, you do." Anyways, here's the thing too is what kind of energy are they willing to put into listening to me talk about this and to paying attention and to take out of their day? Like, now they have this little card, they can walk away, they can hit the QR code if they really want. They can listen to the explanation if they really want. Blah, 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 blah. And I think it's a nice distracting thing. Like if I feel like someone's coming up and it might turn into something a little bit more confrontational, maybe they're in a bad mood and they're like, pick me to take it out on, I don't know, then I can give them something and be like, the QR, and they can kind of be confused and it'll take enough time for me to like kind of hobble away and be gone. And hopefully for them and their mind to get distracted enough to be like, okay, that's not worth it, and I got this, and then they can even go and try to figure out a QR code. I don't know. I just feel like that's a great idea. I feel like I'm a genius. Just tell me I'm a genius in the comments. Validate me. I need a lot of validation. Okay, so I wanted to keep this card very short, sweet, and simple. So it just says, "Yes, I'm disabled" on the front. And on the back, it says, "Hope you have a good day," because I'm still nice. But please remember, it's okay to ask questions respectfully without expecting personal details. And then when I'm feeling the most and extra, then I can give them this card, which is everything. It has the QR code, and on the back, it has a cute little maze for them to do, which is going to be a lot more fun than asking me questions and listening to my boring answers.
Disability has many looks, but many disabilities are invisible. Invisible disabilities refer to conditions that significantly impact a person's life but are not obvious to others. These can include chronic pain, mental health disorders, autoimmune diseases, and more. Invisible illnesses affect an estimated 10% of the 61 million Americans who deal with a physical or mental ailment that limits their movements or senses. The CDC. The challenges? Judgment from others, constantly explaining, misunderstanding, skepticism, stigma, inadequate accessibility. Everyone has their own battles, even if they're not immediately visible. Awareness and compassion can go a long way in creating a more inclusive society and making the world a safer place for people like me. Thank you for taking the time to learn about invisible disabilities. Your understanding and support can make all the difference to those of us living with these conditions. If you're still curious and would like to know even more, follow the journey of an interabled couple on YouTube at Destabilizing Disability.
Now, let's move on to tears, because stranger danger is one thing, but if I'm hanging out with a new group of friends, or one friend, one new friend, and we're getting to know each other. We're asking casual questions like, what's your favorite color? Do you have any family trauma? What's going on with your hair? Do you like it short or long? Is this the hairstyle you picked? Do you like kumquats? Like, it's just a little bit more like we're jumping from thing to thing because you're excited, you're getting to know people, you're just feeling things out. If my disability comes up, or, then it might turn into a like, wait a minute, have you tried this? Are you doing this? Or did what? Like, whoa, you can't touch your toes, or whoa, you can't bend over, whoa, you can't walk without this. Like, that needs to get looked at. Have you tried Pilates? Like, what's going on here? Have you always had this? Why haven't you figured it out sooner what it is? Like, you should be on disability, right? Like, why aren't you doing that? That's like a spiral of questions that has come up that I'm just walking away from that conversation going, what just happened? I don't feel like I did it justice. And I don't need to feel like that in my life right now. I've got enough going on. And it's not only like, oh, did I answer it well enough? Did I do this? Whatever. It's also that these people in my life are asking because they want to get to know me. They're asking out of curiosity because they're trying to get to know me. They want to help me. They have good intentions. Whatever the intentions are on the scale, however it comes off, however it makes me feel, they're not trying to get me in a bad situation. They are not my enemy. I want to grow in a relationship with them. That is the goal. I want to grow as a person in my ability to talk about things. I want to grow relationships in general and be a better friend and be a better human being, feel like a better human being. And I think this is one of those things, to me, maybe small but mighty, I want to be able to answer people's questions without feeling traumatized or like I didn't do life well enough. Because here's the thing too, like, let's say you're talking to someone for one of the first times and you're like, oh, do you have any brothers and sisters, your dad, your family, your mom, what's going on there? And you're just like, well, I'm from a broken home. I do have siblings. I'm not full blood with all of them. Like, that might be kind of the extent of that conversation. Maybe it goes a little further, like, yeah, I talk to them, love them, da da da. But you're not going into like the trauma, which, hopefully there's no trauma there. But if there is, you're not going into the trauma on day one. Most likely not. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe it's not the situation. Maybe it's not the time. Maybe you never do. Whatever. I don't want to. And for me, it feels almost like the same thing. Like, oh, like, have you had this since you were a child? How come you're just figuring it out now? Like, why are you still so bad? Is it getting worse because it's getting worse, or because it's not managed well, or because it's that kind of condition? Like, for me, that immediately, just hearing the question and then trying to even think of one word to start a sentence with to say something back, I'm already thinking about now everything that has happened and why. Like, because I want to answer them without being like, well, when I was 7 years old and in the hospital. No, you don't need to, I don't need to say that. That question brings up a string of focus in my mind on times throughout my entire life until now that I've been gaslit, that I haven't been taken care of, that I wasn't speaking up because I didn't know better because I was very young or whatever, and it turning into a horrible snowballing of a horrible symptomatic experience of a life. I feel like I'm not grounded as much mentally and emotionally, just asking that question in my mind going, whoa, how do I even answer that? So I want to avoid that. So this video can answer a little bit more of the basic things, some foundational things on a couple of topics, so that in the future, if they decide to ask more things, we can kind of get into it a little bit more and focus on one of the questions instead of like, well, have you tried this? Have you done that? What about this? What about that? And it's like, oh, okay. And then if that person and I, get to talk about my trauma in a more safe place, and a place where I have time and, the emotional stability and confidence in myself and the other person that I'm talking to talk about this particular subject, well, then that becomes helpful to me because I want to talk about some of those things, but in a safe place and have some safe reactions, as opposed to it just becoming a chain of questions and them trying to figure out and puzzle piece and solve different things that's going in and on in my life. And a lot of times I think that actually comes from a place of I want to help you get to a better place, and this seems awful. But I do think it can be almost jarring, sometimes maybe traumatic, for someone to realize what my life is like, for them to be like, whoa, you live like that? I can't deal with the fact that you live like that. How do I get you out of that? Like, you must not be doing enough. But to me, it often feels like I'm not doing well enough. I'm not, adult enough, responsible enough, whatever enough to make my own medical decisions and whatever is going on. For you to be like, well, have you seen this? Well, what do you think? Also means that maybe I'm not taking my life very seriously, or that I don't take my conditions seriously, or maybe I don't know enough about my own conditions, my life, my financial circumstances, my whatever, or that I don't know my options well enough. Where it's like, really, I have lived in a place of desperation and crisis on multiple occasions in my life, and have had to desperately search and scour the depths of life to find help, to find good, professionals that will help me, to find good support system, to find something that within me to help me, to, whatever that means. And maybe financially or this or that, and to change my mind on what is a good, responsible, healthy life for me, and to be okay that that's not gonna look and match up with what other people think my life should look like. So in that case, these are the topics that I was thinking about. Questions like, have you seen a specialist? I've seen many specialists throughout my life. Some of them have helped me, some of them have not. I continue to look for specialists that fit where I'm at in my journey. And right now, I do have some of those specialists that I'm very happy and grateful to have. Have you tried disability? That, I think I want to answer more simply, because I think it's a very complicated thing. And there's different kinds of disability, and there's different things. Like, I was on long-term care service. That's not disability, but that was something that worked for our situation for a couple of years. So I think I would just like to be like, I do take advantage of some of the things that I qualify for, and they are helpful. Next question, when did these things start happening to you? When did you realize? Long story short, I have had issues my entire life. Sometimes things are better and sometimes things are worse. And sometimes that's more in my control and sometimes it's out of my control. People always want to ask, like, have you tried? And like, it's a number of things. Exercise, Pilates, supplements, this supplement, that supplement, taking magnesium, doing a bath, whatever. The answer is probably. Probably I have. And if I didn't, it's because I intentionally didn't. I have tried many things by many practitioners. So questions like those, I don't have to talk about it over and over and over again. I want the option to not have to talk about it, but to still be able to answer the question. Okay, thanks for helping me. I'm gonna go work on this project more. My therapist would hate hearing me say that I'm crazy. Shh. We don't have to tell her. Gaslit. Either one. It put a lid on what I was gonna say, and that's called gaslighting. Anyways,